Hello and welcome to the Goofy Studio. I'm Lily, and today I wanted to bring you along while I do a very normal thing and turn a pair of old pants into a book that can be used for drawing, sketching, and painting. And several parts of these statements does make one question things like, has Lily lost her mind? And yes, that is constantly a concern, I would say. Or perhaps, why would anyone use jeans as a book cover? And to that I must ask, why not? This project actually started during the summer when I cut open the seams and sewed together two pants legs. Apparently, I at that point did manage to make sure that the fabric ended up as flat as possible after sewing, so that it wouldn't interfere with painting and drawing inside the book when it's done. Even though I now, half a year later, had completely forgotten that I had done anything with this fabric at all. Well, okay then, let's pick up where this project was left off. Since my name is Overthinker, I started overthinking again. But with my newfound hope that I would be able to complete this project within the 12-month mark, I decided to go full crazy and start cutting without making any proper measurements or having any kind of solid plan at all for the next part of the project. Oh, and yes, of course, you might also be wondering about the sudden change of name. The channel used to go under the name Idnell's Crafting, but new day, new possibilities, or whatever they say. Long story short, this year has definitely been kicking my butt, and now when I finally have managed to find my way back to the studio, I must admit that I see it as a fresh new start. As the phoenix rising from the ashes and all those beautiful things. With phoenix I mean myself as an overworked, overstressed, and temporarily pretty destroyed person, and not actually a gorgeous bird with an amazing magical story. But hey, let me be a phoenix today, okay? It is at this point unknown where I got the floppy plastic parts from that I half a year ago put away so that they could be used as a base for the book covers. But hey, they do seem to work like a charm. Since I had no real plan for the rest of the project, I figured it was a great idea to find fabric and sew it in place by hand. Because that shouldn't really take too long, right? This, whatever this is. Why is your face in here? This is pretty thick.
Do you like it? Do you like it? You are so goofy.
Hiro, your face does not need to be in here. With the chosen curtain in place, I mean fabric, I decided to do some more YOLO cutting and then started the incredibly tedious task of sewing around the edges. And stabbing myself in the fingers numerous times while doing so. Admittedly, my sewing does leave some to wish for. After all, I was thrown out of this class in school because apparently I had an attitude problem. I can't really claim that my sewing or attitude has improved drastically after this though. I couldn't decide on how to move forward with the project from here, so I did what any normal person should do. I went to bed. I returned back the next day and had for some reason decided that the absolute best way to move forward is to bind the book directly onto the fabric, even though it's 2 layers of fabric, and if I accidentally stab it with the needle in slightly different directions, the entire spine will end up being crooked and lumpy, and yeah, great idea, let's go. Even though I really love doing it, I haven't been binding books for a long time now. So if you're looking at the stitches and wondering if there's a specific name to how it's done, or, well, the answer is likely nuh-uh, because I kinda just halfway remember how to properly sew a book block together, but this is not the time to give up, and quite honestly, the most important thing is that the papers don't fall out, right? Of course, we can discuss all kinds of artsy stuff like design and so on, but then again, why would we? This used to be pants, remember? So let's not expect a miracle, shall we? At this point, I felt like I was halfway. Spoiler, I was not even close. Regardless, in my unknowing state of what was to come, I decided to cut the white fabric and start sewing in the potentially most backwards way imaginable. Because why make it easy when you can spend what feels like half a lifetime on sewing by hand? As a side note, I'm now wondering if it would not have been quicker to take my sewing machine to get it repaired, pick it up, and then use that to sew instead. But you know, I was convinced that this would take no time at all, so I kept going, of course, and going and going. This entire project took approximately 15 hours, and I think 14 of those was just sewing, and the last little hour was me confused staring at the weird thing on my workbench, trying to figure out how on earth I would be able to finish this project. Since I really want this book to be functional too, and not only, well, let's face it, weird, I folded a huge flap of the jeans fabric that could partially wrap the front. It is slowly starting to come together, but the weirdly shaped flap on the front was really bothering me, and due to the absurd time it took to sew it all, I did not want to cut it off and start again. So instead, I added a pocket on the front. It's great for pencils, knuckle irons, knives, erasers, or anything else essential. And of course, I attach it with, well, you guessed it, needle and thread. Together with an elastic closing thingy-mabobber. I'm not exactly sure what this even used to be, but it works. Also, added some small details that just seemed like a good idea at the time. Super side note here, while I show you the finished result. The dragon on the front is the same one I have tattooed on my arm. Mine was just never filled in. Anyways, thank you so very much for watching this pretty weird video. If you in any way enjoyed this time and want to support me, please leave a like or perhaps even subscribe to the channel. I love you all. Take care out there, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye.